Lovely viewers, welcome back to the channel. As you settle in, I want you to imagine this scene clearly. Picture a calm day, no cameras flashing, no reporters lurking nearby. Just Lee Min-ho holding his phone, taking a deep breath, and dialing a number that means everything to the woman he loves. On the other end of that call is Song Hye Kyo's father, the man who raised her, protected her, and shaped the values that fans admire today. This alone already tells us so much about the depth of Lee Min-ho's feelings. Because when a man reaches out to a woman's father not out of obligation, but out of admiration and respect, it says everything about his intentions. Sources close to the couple revealed that Song Hye Kyo had no idea the call was going to happen. She was reportedly sitting nearby, casually scrolling through her phone, when Lee Min-ho quietly excused himself. When he returned, his expression was calm but warm, the kind of look that already hinted something meaningful had just occurred. And when he told her what he had done, that was when her face lit up in the most natural, uncontrollable smile fans have come to recognize as her genuine happiness. Not the polished smile she gives on red carpets, but the soft, slightly shy smile that comes from the heart. Viewers, let me ask you something. Have you ever seen someone smile in a way that instantly tells you they feel safe, respected, and deeply cherished? That was Song Hye Kyo in that moment. Those close to her said she was visibly touched, even a little emotional. Her eyes reportedly softened, and she laughed quietly, almost as if she was overwhelmed by how thoughtful the gesture was. This was not about impressing anyone. This was about honor. According to insiders, Lee Min-ho didn't just exchange polite greetings with her father. He spoke sincerely about Song Hye Kyo as a daughter, as a woman, and as a person. He complimented her kindness, her strength, her discipline, and the grace she carries even during difficult moments. He reportedly told her father how much he admires the way she handles life, work, and relationships, and how those qualities reflect excellent upbringing. Imagine hearing that as a parent. Imagine knowing the man by your daughter's side not only loves her, but truly sees her. Song Hye Kyo's father was said to be pleasantly surprised by the call. He listened attentively, responded warmly, and expressed appreciation for Lee Min-ho's words. He reportedly thanked him for treating his daughter with care and respect, something any parent hopes for but rarely hears expressed so clearly. The conversation was described as calm, respectful, and filled with mutual appreciation. No pressure, no expectations, just two men connected by their shared love and respect for one woman. And viewers, this is where the story becomes even more beautiful. When Lee Min-ho shared the details of the call with Song Hye Kyo, she didn't just smile. She reportedly reached for his hand and held it tightly for a moment, as if trying to communicate gratitude without words. Those close to her said she kept smiling long after the conversation ended, occasionally shaking her head in disbelief and softly saying how touched she was. That smile wasn't for the cameras. It was for him. Let's pause here and reflect together. In a world where celebrity relationships are often loud, rushed, and performative, moments like this feel rare. This wasn't about creating buzz. This wasn't leaked intentionally. This was a private act that only came to light because those around them couldn't help but be moved by it. And when fans eventually found out, the reaction was immediate and emotional. Social media was flooded with comments praising Lee Min-ho's maturity and respect, and expressing happiness for Song Hye Kyo's evident joy. Many fans pointed out that Song Hye Kyo has always valued family deeply. Throughout her career, she has spoken about how important her parents' opinions are to her. Seeing Lee Min-ho acknowledge that, and take initiative to connect with her father, made fans feel this relationship is built on understanding, not just attraction. One fan commented that this single gesture revealed more about their bond than 100 romantic photos ever could. Another viewer wrote that Song Hye Kyo's smile in that moment told a story of healing. And that observation struck a chord with many. Song Hye Kyo has been through her share of public scrutiny, emotional challenges, and heartbreaks. To see her smile with such ease and warmth suggested a sense of peace she hasn't always had. It felt like a quiet confirmation that she feels secure, valued, and protected. Lee Min-ho, on the other hand, earned immense respect from fans for this gesture. Many noted that it takes confidence and sincerity to approach a partner's parent this way. Shows emotional intelligence, humility, and seriousness. He didn't need to do it, but he chose to. And that choice spoke volumes. Let me ask you, lovely viewers, how often do we see this level of respect portrayed so naturally? How often does love show itself not through grand gestures, but through quiet actions that honor family and values? This moment reminded many people of what meaningful relationships truly look like. What makes this story even more touching is how Song Hye Kyo reacted afterward. Sources say she later shared the moment with close friends, smiling as she recounted how surprised and moved she felt. She reportedly said that hearing Lee Min-ho speak so warmly about her to her father made her feel deeply understood. Not just loved for who she is on screen, but appreciated for who she is at home, away from the spotlight. Fans also noticed subtle changes in her demeanor following the incident. In subsequent public appearances, her smile appeared lighter, her energy calmer. Even in interviews, she seemed more relaxed, often smiling softly when asked about personal happiness. Though she did not directly address the call, many felt they could see the afterglow of that meaningful moment reflected in her presence. Lee Min-ho, known for his reserved nature when it comes to personal matters, did not publicly comment on the call either. And that silence, in a way, made the story even more powerful. It reinforced that this was never meant to be public. It was an act of respect done for the right reasons. Viewers, stories like this remind us why we follow these artists beyond their work. Not because they are perfect, but because moments like this show their humanity. This wasn't a scene from a drama. It wasn't scripted. It was real life, unfolding quietly, with sincerity and warmth. As fans continued to discuss the story, many shared personal reflections. Some said it reminded them of moments when their own partners made efforts to connect with their families. Others said it gave them hope that respectful, thoughtful love still exists, even in the fast-paced world of celebrity culture. And many simply said they were happy to see Song Hye Kyo smile like that, genuinely and without hesitation. There's something incredibly powerful about a smile that comes from feeling seen. Song Hye Kyo's smile in that moment wasn't about public approval. It was about knowing the man beside her honors her roots, values her upbringing, and respects the people who shaped her. That kind of love builds trust, builds peace, and it builds a future. People began talking less about the phone call and more about the emotional language behind it. Many viewers pointed out that calling a partner's parent to compliment their child is not just about courtesy, it is about alignment. It means two worlds are quietly finding harmony, without noise, without pressure, without spectacle. In private conversations shared by those close to the couple, it was revealed that Song Hye Kyo later reflected deeply on that moment. She reportedly said it made her think about how rare it is for someone to truly understand how important family approval is to her, not as a requirement, but as an emotional anchor. For her, family has always been a safe space, a place where she can return to being simply daughter, rather than actress, icon, or public figure. Knowing that Lee Min-ho respected that space enough to enter it gently meant more to her than words could fully express. Viewers, imagine what that does to a person's heart. Imagine carrying your world carefully for years, protecting it from intrusion, and then meeting someone who doesn't try to break in, but instead knocks softly and waits to be welcomed. That is what made Song Hye Kyo's smile linger long after the call ended. It wasn't excitement. It was reassurance. Some fans even noticed that after this moment, Song Hye Kyo appeared more open in subtle ways. She laughed more freely in behind-the-scenes clips. She seemed more grounded in candid photos. It was as if a quiet layer of tension had been lifted. And while none of this was explicitly explained, those who have followed her journey for years felt the difference immediately. They recognized the glow not as glamour, but as emotional ease. Lee Min-ho, too, was said to have been affected by the exchange. Insiders shared that he felt grateful for the warm response he received from her father. It reportedly strengthened his resolve to continue being thoughtful and intentional in the relationship. Not because he felt evaluated, but because he genuinely cared about honoring the people who mattered most to Song Hye Kyo. That kind of mindset doesn't come from obligation. It comes from love that has matured beyond infatuation. Let's talk honestly for a moment, lovely viewers. In relationships, it is easy to focus on how someone treats you when things are exciting. But it is in moments like these, quiet and unseen, that true character shows. Respecting family, acknowledging upbringing, and expressing appreciation for the values instilled in a partner is one of the deepest forms of intimacy. It says, "I see all of you, including where you come from." As the story continued to circulate, fans from different cultures shared how meaningful this gesture felt to them personally. Some spoke about how important parental respect is in their own traditions. Others said they wished more people understood how powerful it can be to build bridges with family rather than avoid them. The comment sections turned into spaces of reflection, where people weren't just talking about celebrities, but about love, values, and emotional responsibility. Song Hye Kyo's smile, in this broader context, became symbolic. It wasn't just her reaction. It represented relief, trust, and a sense of being deeply acknowledged. For someone who has spent much of her life under public scrutiny, moments of genuine emotional safety are priceless. And fans understood that instinctively. Many said they felt protective of that smile, hoping it would never be forced, rushed, or taken for granted. What made the continuation of this story even more touching was how normal everything remained afterward. There were no dramatic follow-ups, no exaggerated reactions, no attempts to capitalize on the moment. Life simply went on, quietly enriched by that exchange. And perhaps that is what made it feel so real. Love that is secure does not need constant affirmation. It settles into everyday life and strengthens it from within. Viewers, this is why stories like this stay with us. Not because they are loud, but because they remind us of what matters. They remind us that respect is romantic, that humility is attractive, that love expressed through consideration often lasts longer than love expressed through grand gestures alone. As we continue following this journey together, one thing becomes clear. Song Hye Kyo's smile was not just a reaction to a compliment. It was a response to being valued on every level. And Lee Min-ho's call was not just a polite act. It was a statement of intent, quietly spoken, deeply felt. And as we gently move forward from that point, the conversation around this moment continues to deepen in the most unexpected and meaningful ways. What started as a simple, respectful phone call has now grown into a symbol that many people are holding close to their hearts. Not because it was dramatic, but because it felt familiar. It felt like something real people experience in quiet rooms, far away from headlines, yet powerful enough to change how someone feels about love, trust, and belonging. Lovely viewers, one of the most beautiful things about this continuation is how it invites everyone in. It does not ask you to be a fan of a specific drama or film. It does not require you to follow celebrity news closely. All it asks is that you understand what it feels like to be truly seen, not just as an individual, but as someone who comes from a family, a history, and a set of values. That is where this story keeps unfolding. After that call, those close to Song Hye Kyo shared that she became more reflective in her private moments. Not in a sad way, but in a thoughtful, grounded way. She reportedly spoke about how rare it is, especially in adult relationships, for someone to acknowledge the role parents play long after childhood ends. She reflected on how her father has always been a quiet strength in her life, someone who does not seek attention but has always been present. Knowing that Lee Min-ho recognized that presence and honored it meant more to her than she initially realized. Viewers, think about how often parents fade into the background once we grow older. How often their influence is assumed rather than acknowledged. That is why this moment resonated so deeply. It was not just a compliment to Song Hye Kyo. It was a compliment to the years of guidance, sacrifice, and love that shaped her into who she is today. And when Lee Min-ho spoke those words, he was honoring an entire journey, not just the destination. What followed was not a sudden shift, but a gentle settling. Song Hye Kyo's smile, which many have described as softer and more relaxed since then, became a quiet indicator of emotional comfort. In candid moments, she appeared less guarded. In conversations, she listened with ease. Even her silences seemed lighter. These are not things you can script or pretend. They come when someone feels safe. Lee Min-ho, too, was said to have approached the relationship with even more intentionality afterward. Not because anything was lacking before, but because moments like that naturally deepen awareness. He reportedly became more mindful of how small actions can carry significant meaning. Whether it was asking about family traditions, remembering small details about her upbringing, or simply listening when she spoke about home, his approach reflected someone who understood that love grows strongest when rooted in respect. This continuation of the story has also opened up conversations among fans about emotional maturity. Many people commented that what impressed them most was not the act itself, but the timing. This was not done at the beginning to make an impression, nor was it done out of obligation. It happened naturally, at a point where genuine appreciation had already formed. That timing made it feel sincere rather than performative. Lovely viewers, this is where the story becomes inclusive in the truest sense. Because it invites us to ask ourselves questions, not about celebrities but about our own lives. How do we show respect to the people who shape those we love? How often do we acknowledge family not as a hurdle, but as a foundation? And how might our relationships change if we approach them with this level of emotional awareness? Many viewers shared personal stories inspired by this moment. Some spoke about introducing their partners to their parents with a new sense of pride. Others talked about reaching out to a partner's family member for the first time, not because they had to, but because they wanted to. The comment sections became spaces of connection, where people realized they were not alone in valuing these quiet gestures. Song Hye Kyo's smile in this ongoing narrative has come to represent something larger than happiness. It represents relief. Relief that she does not have to explain the importance of family. Relief that the person beside her understands without being asked. Relief that love at this stage of life can be calm and grounded rather than chaotic. And viewers, let us acknowledge something important here. Inclusivity also means recognizing that everyone's family story is different. Not everyone has an easy relationship with their parents. Not everyone comes from the same cultural expectations. Yet, the heart of this story still speaks universally. It is about respecting what matters to someone else, even if it does not mirror your own experience. It is about listening before assuming, and honoring before demanding. That is why so many people from different backgrounds found meaning in this moment. Some saw it as a reflection of their own values. Others saw it as an ideal they aspire to. And some simply saw it as a reminder that kindness, when directed thoughtfully, can have a lasting impact. As time passed, the story did not fade. Instead, it quietly embedded itself into how fans perceived the relationship. It became a reference point. Whenever new photos surfaced or new appearances were made, people looked beyond the surface. They looked for the same gentleness, the same mutual respect, the same ease that was reflected in that smile. Lee Min-ho's call, though simple, set a tone. It suggested a future built on understanding rather than assumptions. And Song Hye Kyo's response suggested a heart that felt recognized, not pressured. Together, these elements created a narrative that felt mature, balanced, and deeply human. Lovely viewers, there is something incredibly comforting about stories like this. In a world that often celebrates extremes, they remind us of the power of moderation. They remind us that love does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it speaks through a phone call, a thoughtful word, or a smile that lingers because it feels safe to do so. As we continue this conversation together, I want you to hold on to that thought. Think about the small, respectful actions that have meant the most to you. Think about the time someone honored your background, your family, or your values without being asked. Those moments often stay with us far longer than grand gestures ever do. This story continues not because of what happened, but because of what it represents. It represents love that is attentive. It represents respect that is proactive. And it represents a kind of happiness that does not need validation to exist. So as we come to the end of this continuation, I invite you once again to share your thoughts. What part of this story resonated with you the most? Was it the call itself, the smile that followed, or the deeper meaning behind it all. Your experiences, your reflections, and your voices make this space inclusive and alive. Thank you, lovely viewers, for staying with me through this extended journey. Thank you for listening, reflecting, and opening your hearts. Until our next conversation, may we all continue to choose love that listens, respects, and gently uplifts everyone it touches.